What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Starting today off at the car wash again. This thing is getting disgusting so fast. And it's actually funny because someone DM'd me on Instagram and they're like, I'm behind you right now. I fucking love this car. It's super awesome. And he's chilling right next to me. I think it's pretty funny that he spotted me at the car wash. But today is hopefully going to be an awesome day because we're going to be turning the boost up on this thing, and it's been lacking some power for a while now, and it was kind of my fault, so I'll explain it when I get to Steven's shop, but it's kind of funny, and hopefully we'll be able to see some more power out of this thing and it'll rip. It's my hope, but we need to get this thing clean. Alright guys, we are at Steven's shop, letting the Soarer cool down right now. It was probably like a 45-minute drive, but Steven got a new shop location, and I don't think I've shown it on camera yet, but he's no longer in the dungeon that we were in before. Take a look in here. Much nicer. We've been letting the car cool down, but it's time to pull it in and assess what we're gonna be doing. It's funny, but I hope that it's gonna work out. All right, so you remember when we did the single turbo swap on this car? Came out great and has been running perfectly ever since, but there's one thing that we forgot to do, and it's kind of detrimental. So this wastegate that's in this car still has the base spring that's in it because we forgot to swap it out when we built the manifold and put everything on. So I've looked it up when I bought the wastegate spring, and in the description it said that it's rated for only 5 pounds of boost, which if that's the spring that's in it right now, that means ever since we finished this swap, it's only been making 5 pounds of boost, which would make sense because this car does not feel really any faster than it did when it was twin turbo, if we're being completely honest. So I'm hoping that we're gonna change that today, and it's kind of a mistake on my part. I totally forgot to swap that out before we gave it to Justin so that he could build the manifold. But here we have an Innovate Motorsports, I think it's an SCG-1, yes. It is a wideband and boost controller gauge built into one. It's all electronic, and it comes with everything that you need to get it done. These gauges have a great reputation, and Tommy has used them in his cars, Adam has used them in his cars, so I think that it will work perfectly fine for what I need it to. We're trying to put it back to what it was making before, which I think boost cut is anything over 14 pounds of boost on this car. So if we can make 12 pounds of boost today and turn that up, this thing's gonna feel so much better. And this guy's been making fun of me ever since I did it, calling me 5 pound boy over here. Weak spring. So hopefully we can change that today, because I've been very much anticipating this. And we're also gonna swap out the spark plugs because that's just good to do. So I'm gonna pick the camera up again when we have a game plan, and I can go over how we're gonna install this. Here's all the stuff that comes with the kit, and the first thing that we're figuring out is where to mount the actual boost solenoid itself. And we found a perfect spot that was actually for the factory intake stuff, and it's right here. So we mounted Steven mounted the bracket, and that's basically gonna be where that lives. And then we're gonna snake it up through, you see that grommet right there? So we're gonna snake it up through that grommet, and all of that should be good. So we're just gonna kind of do this step by step, and I will fill you guys in on how we do it. The boost controller is fully hooked up and plumbed, so he's got it ran down to the wastegate and has the O2 sensor for it plugged in down there into the downpipe. Thankfully this downpipe had 2 extra ports on it, so that is all set. So he also put some gold heat foil on the boost line just to keep it from melting. And he also hooked up the Innovate map sensor over here, and it looks really, really clean. Just kind of blends in with the mess of the ABS wires and all of that stuff. And now we are fitting the gauge, and for now we think that the best spot would be just right on top of the steering column. I can still see everything perfectly fine, and we'll be able to snake the wires and hoses and stuff right into the column itself. So I think that's our best bet, but I will update you guys when it is all plumbed up. Should be interesting. Check that out. That's mounted so nice. I love that.
Power her down.
Power her down. Okay. So we're just calibrating it right now, and I'm gonna put the interior pieces back together and all that stuff, but it's coming along. This mounting place right now is hopefully going to be a little temporary. I do plan on, if I do get any more gauges, there is a 2-pod gauge bracket that takes place down there that I will do because it's clean. But for now, this should do the trick. All right, we got measurements. It's a little bit rich, but it's better to be rich than lean on these. So we're gonna look through the manual a little bit, figure out how to adjust everything on this gauge, and then we're gonna go take this out for a base run and see how much boost it makes. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it's what I said, 5 or 6 pounds of boost, because then we can turn it up and make more boost and have more fun and all that awesome stuff. So we're gonna look at this manual and then go on a drive. All right, so we're gonna go on our first little run here, see what it makes. You just click through the actual gauge itself on the little button on the left, and it will show, get this here, it'll show peak PSI.
HG's your boost, that's your peak PSI.
Peak PSI boost. So we'll leave it at this and go for a run. All right, I'm gonna slow down a little and go.
And you peaked at 11 there.
Wow. Okay. And then we should be able to cycle through. So peak PSI, there you go, 11 PSI. It's a lot more than I thought that it was gonna have. All right, here we go.
Feels better than I remember it, to be honest with you.
Maybe I just don't put my foot to the floor enough. I don't know. What was that?
Was what?
Yeah, 11 still. So yeah, we're gonna pull it back in and see if we can adjust from there. I know peak is 14, so if we can get a few extra pounds out of it, I'll be pretty stoked. But I honestly thought that it was gonna be a lot lower than that. I thought it was gonna be like, you know, 6 pounds, 5 pounds. That's what it felt like to me. Guess what it made? 11. Yeah. All right, so the car made peak 11 PSI, which I didn't think that it was gonna make because I know this wastegate comes with a 5-pound spring installed, which we never swapped out. So my theory is that, and prove me wrong in the comments if I'm incorrect, because I don't know these things, but I'm just spitballing here. It was on 5 pounds previously, because it did feel faster, but obviously I'm looking at a gauge that says 11. I feel like it came in here on 5 or 6 pounds. We put this whole controller setup in, and now that it has a boost controller, that boost controller is preset to something as well. So what I'm thinking is that boost controller is preset to 10. That's why I'm getting 10.5, 11 PSI at peak. It definitely felt faster, which I'm stoked about, but it just is confusing me. So we're gonna try and put it up to 14, which I think is the boost cut on this car.
We'll figure it. We'll figure out if it cuts, then we'll know we're there, and then we'll dial it back just a little bit.
Right. So a few extra pounds. I mean, you'll definitely feel that, which I'll be pumped about.
Yeah, so
and
instead of 4%, bumped it up to 12%. Not a huge increase. So
right.
we'll see how that goes.
For sure. So we're gonna take it out again and see what it makes. It's just kind of a trial and error thing, but I am pumped. Now I got a nice looking gauge too, that if I do end up going standalone in the future, I have a nice boost and AFR gauge already, which is sick.
Do one more if you can. There you go. Now go for it. Yes, sir.
There it is.
Still,
that was
only like 10.6, I think. Again.
Really?
Yeah. That sounded cool though.
Yeah.
That's 13.72 again. Kick again. 11.9.
11.9, so a little bit higher. Man, that sounded good though.
Yeah, you got a lot of heat in the gears, brother.
Okay, that was cool. I didn't want to keep going. I'm not used to this speed. Look at that. That dude's balling. You got a freaking castle in his backyard.
You can't see it, your fucking head's in the way.
Sorry. Jimmy Neutron over here, you know? Back at the old HQ looking at this, we increased the duty cycle this time to 22% from 12? Yeah, so it was at 12 before, we made 11.9, so we put it to 22% duty cycle. So hopefully that should be right around boost cut or slightly before it, but we're gonna find out. So we're gonna go off to Mexico and we'll be back shortly. All right. We're gonna try it again here, see what it does. Not enough room.
It's only like 8.
Yeah. Everyone's got the toys out today, including myself. Even though I said I was not going to do that until I got my bumper protected, but I couldn't help myself. I wanted more boost. All right.
I'll tell you what, when she got way up there, she wanted to go.
Yeah, it's definitely quick. It just shifts prematurely because of the automatic, but
What do we peak at?
shit, I didn't even see.
11.9 again.
So it didn't go past that. Huh. All right, I don't remember where I left the last clip off, but this thing is no longer making 5 pounds of boost. We're leaving it at 12 for now. We put it to 22% on the duty cycle, and it's staying at 12, but at the same time, the last time that I took it out, I couldn't get a full like open throttle pull. There just wasn't enough room in the road in Mexico, and the cartel are gonna get mad at me. So I don't wanna go any further until I have a decent strip of clean Mexican roads to do it on. Now that I know how to adjust the controller as well, I can do it myself. But we have a beautiful, let me get the key here, Innovative SCG-1 controller, and all of that stuff. It works phenomenally. I haven't seen the footage yet that we shot of actually driving the car. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. Got some nice turbo noises and turbo flutter. This thing makes crazy turbo flutter because it doesn't have a blow-off valve, and I absolutely love it. I'm kind of a butthurt for that. But it's getting late, it's the weekend, there's a lot of people out right now. It's not exactly the most ideal time to take this car out and rip it around a bunch. So I think I'm gonna leave the video here. Huge shout out to Steven over at SP Tuning. I'll leave a link in the description to his website. You guys can check it out. He sells a bunch of awesome stuff for a lot of cars, dress up hardware. He's a distributor for a bunch of other stuff as well. He was able to install this wideband gauge and get everything sorted for me, which I'm very, very grateful for. Pierce can no longer call me weak spring boy because we're making 12 pounds, which is still low, but the car's still on a stock ECU, so I can't go higher than 14 anyways. Further down the line, I may entertain getting a standalone for this car and manual swap. We are doing that, just don't know when. I have a lot of things going on right now with all my cars. I'm trying to get them ready for something really, really big and it's going to be insane. I've only done this once, and I think it's gonna be really, really cool. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you did, we're gonna head home now. Have an awesome night. I'll see you in the next one.